Hello, everybody. This is Soda,
And this is KLMeri.
and today we are dealing once again with the topic of ships, which we haven't talked about in a long while, right?
Yes, this is true. We're going to talk about non-TOS pairings, our favorite. But this really kind of harkens back to our 49th podcast, right? Where we went over the non-TOS pairings. We talked about what were the favorite in general for canon pairings and fanon pairings. So Soda and I have split it up into what are our personal favorites for canon and fanon across all of the non-TOS shows.
Yeah, and well, also this will include also non AOS ships because
Yeah,
they are basically the
yes.
same characters. Yeah.
Yeah, original series, sorry. You don't count on this
Well,
podcast.
to be fair, we talked about it a lot, so if you are interested, we have another other episodes that deal with this subject. But this one is for non-TOS AOS pairings.
Yeah. I will say, I had to exclude the shows that I'm like less familiar with. It's a good thing I've watched Discovery because that might have been one of them. Since we, got to cover Discovery last time. But like for example, I'm not touching the kids show, and really everything else was kind of fair game though.
Oh yeah, I haven't even watched the kid show, so I did too. But yeah, everything else pretty much. We did have to narrow it down though. Uh, there are
Oh
rules.
yeah. So let me ask you, Soda, how easy was it for you to come up with your top three?
Not easy at all. Not easy at all. Um, actually, because we're covering both canon and fanon, it was pretty hard for both groups, if I'm being honest.
I I would agree with that. And you're talking to someone who probably has less non-TOS favorites in general, just because if you ask me what I'm watching, it's the original series all the time. Um, but I I had to sit and really think about it. Also, what I did was I just kind of made a two columns. I went, okay, let's just go through and list all the canon pairings that I generally care about, or that,
Mhm.
as we talked about in our other podcasts, like people care about. And
Yeah.
then the fanon ones, I did the same thing, and I went through and kind of like immediately I knew like what would be a contender. Um, and I kind of already had in my mind like what was number one, right? You know probably what your most favorite is, but for me picking like the two and the three was difficult.
So you see, I had a different problem for each one. For the canon pairings, I actually had a lot of trouble narrowing down my favorite canon pairing. Because, well, I mean, let's just be frank. Star Trek isn't always the best when it comes to romance.
Hmm.
So a lot of pairings I like for specific aspects.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to narrow it down to this is my favorite. So I struggled in that regard. In the fanon pairing, I had a favorite, but I had a trouble, choosing two and three.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Um, you kind of know like a pairing that you probably love more than others, but then you have to start thinking in ranks, and it's tough.
Yeah.
Especially since some of them are kind of equal. Like you said, they're equal in how much you like them, but maybe for different reasons. There were a lot more contenders on my canon side than my fanon side. Does that surprise you?
No, honestly, me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not so weird. Um, yeah, to be honest, some pairings on the fanon side, like there's maybe that one scene or the one thing these two characters talk to each other about, and like you could make a whole fanon pairing out of it, but you
Yeah,
know, I I think the shows struggle with that sometimes, like you said, with material. More interactions between the characters spawns more potential pairings.
that's true. Yeah.
So, all right, which topic do you which one, canon fanon, do you want to talk about first?
Let's do one for each. Number three for each, number two for each.
Okay. Can I also just add in here quickly? I do have honorary mentions.
I do too, honestly.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So our number threes.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
is your number three canon pairing?
My number three canon pairing is from Discovery. It is Michael Burnham and Book.
Interesting. My number three canon pairing is Lita and Rom from Deep Space Nine.
Ooh. So Lita and Ram, I gave an honorary mention. They actually are kind of like number four.
hmm
If I had to rank further,
I'll tell you my
I
number four later, but for now it's Lita and Rom. Um, yeah, I just really like them. I mean, they're kind of my number three because they're like in like 9 episodes total, like 9, 10 episodes or something like that. If you consider their
yeah,
appearance in like um lower decks too. But every time they're on screen, they steal the show. They're so cute together.
I can't disagree with that. um, they're so popular, they gotta come back in lower decks.
Yeah, because they're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's honestly, it's also my number three because it kind of lacks any build up. Like you don't really
Mm,
see why they like each other so much, but they do work together. So you're like, okay, whatever. And because they're side characters, you don't really need all that information.
yeah. Very similar reason for Michael and Book. We only get their relationship in the last two seasons of the series. For most of that, they just kind of we just have this black hole of time that they spend together, and
Yeah,
that is what brought them closer together. It's not too long after Michael is back with the Discovery that you can see the will they want they, and yeah, they some things happen and they realize they do like each other more than partners and friends. So the thing about their relationship is I like their dynamic because Michael's very sometimes she's very off the cuff. She likes adventure, and Book does too, but he has this him being like an empath, right? He just has this more calming presence that I think fits is something Michael needs. And then vice versa, like Michael pushes him out of his comfort zone sometimes. They can be fun together. Obviously they had a lot of drama in the you
yeah.
know in the one of the seasons, but they worked it out, and we get a happy ending for them. I think they were a pretty solid pairing. I mean, especially considering Michael's other romantic interests.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I really like Michael and Book. They're my number two actually in the canon
Oh,
pairings. Yeah.
great.
Uh,
So,
I
what do you
actually
love
feel like
about them?
the show does a really good job of exploring their relationship. We don't really see why they get together, but I think we can kind of, see the chemistry from the moment they meet. Like we see their first meeting and they do have chemistry there. And well, like I said, think the show kind of explores the relationship really well, and we see the ups and downs, and it feels very realistic. It's like the most fleshed out part of Michael's character, kind
Yeah,
of. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Book is just a really, really likable character too. And they work really great together.
I mean, there were obviously more canon pairings in Discovery. Um,
Yeah.
like, ones since the very beginning, like Stamets and Culber, they're married. But it's something about Michael and Book that just felt real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a real struggle with their relationship. They just weren't happy all the time.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
it's not just that they weren't happy all the time, but they also didn't feel like, if you're so unhappy, why don't you break up already? They just felt like a
yeah.
realistic couple.
Yeah. Realistic. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was trying to
Yeah.
get at. Um, number 3 of the fanon pairings. I picked from Enterprise Archer and Shran.
Nice.
I'm gonna tell you now. There's a theme in my pairings,
Okay.
but I didn't realize this until I was really thinking about it. Archer Shran is like your classic enemies to lovers kind of trope. I don't know. To be honest, it felt like for me they were the most interesting dynamic of all the Enterprise
Mm.
characters.
That that's pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because I kind of like Trip and Tipol. They're kind of one of my honorary mentions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I see what you're getting at because aside from Trip and Tipol, the other Enterprise characters really didn't get all that much in terms
Yeah,
of
Trip and
relationship.
T'Pol were an honorary mention because the show worked more at their relationship, and
Yeah,
except for some weird scenes that they had together, felt a little
yeah,
forced. It
yeah,
it grew on me. So
yeah. They
yeah.
tried to sexualize them a lot, but they didn't really
Mm-hmm.
need to. The shape worked anyway. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah, but no, Arthur and Shran really did have a very interesting relationship, even though Shran too didn't appear in too many episodes.
doesn't matter.
Not really. Not really.
There was a very fun dynamic there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
My number three is a little odd.
Mm?
It's a three-way pairing. It's from the next generation. Deanna Troy, Worf, and Riker.
Okay, I first off, I love that you have a Polly. um, I honestly really considered a Polly. If I had to pick one, which I didn't like tag it on my list, but it would have been T'Pol, Tucker, and Archer.
Really
Um, yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a third wheel. But
yeah.
yeah, no, I can see why you picked this.
I think you can see why I picked this because it's very the original series trio coded,
Mhm.
right? We
Mhm.
have Deanna Troi, who is an empath, who is obviously the emotional side. She's even a counselor. She's not a doctor, but she is a counselor. Worf is very analytic and he's very logical most of the time, despite being a Klingon. And Riker is very similar to Kirk in a lot of ways. So they do make kind of an interesting pairing, and the most interesting part is that Troy did date both Worf and Riker on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we've had some comments about like the thing that happened between Troy and Worf, but
yeah,
you're right. I mean, they have the makings of an OT3.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think they would have worked very well together. I don't know why Deanna had to choose between them. It's kind of funny we never got an answer to how Troy and Worf got together or why they broke up. They
Uh-huh.
just they did both of those things off screen.
She's
But
just
I
like,
don't
I can
think
only handle one.
yeah, and she and Riker have been like on and off the entire show,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I think Riker would have been open to it, and I think Troy would have also managed. I don't know. I think it would have been very interesting.
I give this a thumbs up.
Yeah.
I mean, I did put it as a contender, so to be honest, it's kind of hard to scrounge. Sometimes it feels like it's hard to find more poly ships in the non-TOS shows. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, I like it.
Okay, on to number two.
You're not gonna. I don't know how you're gonna feel about my number two. um,
I'm interested now. Yeah, let's hear it.
my number two from the Next Generation is Picard and Crusher.
For the canon pairings.
Technically, yes, for the canon
Yes.
pairing. Technically, they are canon, especially after the Picard show.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
they are.
did some weird things with mystery sons, but
Yeah.
okay. The thing is, I guess this is odd because in the Next Generation, Riker and Troy really had like the will they, won't they, but I like something a little more subtle,
Hmm.
and I like unrequited feelings sometimes, and it felt like Picard had a lot of those for Crusher, and yeah, I just, even though it never really came to fruition in the way that you would expect throughout the Next Generation, I was always kind of rooting for them in the back of my mind.
Interesting. Did you have a very interesting dynamic because he was a best friend with her late husband,
Yeah.
and he feels very guilty because he was his commander when he died, and yeah, it's kind of a very complicated ship. My I don't really like either of those characters, which is my problem.
Yeah. It's complicated, but so the best friend was the connection between them,
Yeah,
right? And sometimes when you lose a person that you care about very much, it brings two people who both love that person together.
yeah.
I have some rose tinted glasses on there. Um, I was
No, I
never,
can
I will
see.
say, I wasn't deeply invested in it, but I was sad that they didn't do more with it than they did. Instead, they kind of stuck Crusher with some other random guys.
And Picard was sometimes with random girls. Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I can see it. I can see the appeal. I really didn't like the execution in the show personally. Because I felt like when it was addressed, it was addressed very poorly, and it wasn't addressed. It was like they both kind of forgot it happened at all. So it was very weird.
Yeah, and I did not like. I honestly would have preferred that they not have used it as a plot point in Picard. So
I
in the
think
show.
a lot of things shouldn't have been brought up in Picard. Yeah,
uh, it's like where they try to give you something you want and then they mess it up really badly.
yeah.
So I knew you would think that was a strange one.
As an Weirdly enough, in my honor mentions, I do have Picard and Vash, which
Hmm.
I usually don't like Picard, but I like him with women that kind of poke at his ego. Which is
Fair.
I also don't hate Loxana Troy, even though a lot of the fandom does hate her. I don't hate her because she also does that. She also really pokes at his ego. She's not just kind of, oh, he's Picard, I have to respect him. She's not like that.
Yeah.
And Vash is not like that either.
I like Luxana. I mean, she goes after what she wants.
Yeah,
On the canon list, I put as a contender on here Odo and Luxana, even though it was really one-sided.
yeah. I didn't put Loxana in any honorable mention because all of her ships were very one-sided. Yeah,
Yeah, they're all very one-sided, but she was an interesting character.
yeah. Well, you know my number two.
I do know your number two. So what's your number two on the fanon side?
On the fanon side, my number two is actually from Lower Decks. It's Mariner and Tlin.
Ooh. Okay. I gave this one an honorable mention. I see it.
Yeah,
Talen's a great character, but tell me,
Tlin is
what is it?
yeah.
Why Mariner and Talin and not like someone else in Talin?
As I said, Tlin is a great character, but first of all, Mariner is also a great character.
Hmm.
But I kind of like the way they mesh up. You wouldn't think they'd get along, but they did get along all the time. They actually seem to be close. Celine seemed closer to Mariner than she was to any other of the squad.
Yeah,
Um, they even had a few scenes of them talking about personal issues together. Um, I think she's just like very calm, but she's also she's Vulcan sassy, and I
yes.
think Mariner can appreciate that.
I just, you're just describing Kirk and Spock to me.
Um, I mean, I think all
A little
variations
bit.
of Vulcan and non-Vulcan pairings have a bit of Kirk and Spock in them because
Mariner is
I think
a
Mariner is a lot.
cowboy.
Yeah, Mariner is a lot more. I don't know, brash and in your face than Kirk. Kirk was a little more respectful to a lot of to people than Mariner is.
And more mature.
Well, yeah, yeah.
um, but no, I think Mariner and Talen's a great pairing. I listed a few others. I went like, Tendi and Talen and Talen with herself.
Well,
she's
that's
good.
a pairing.
Actually, but Mariner and Talen's the only one out of Lower Decks that I gave an honorary mention.
Hmm.
Other than on the canon side, which was Shax and Tiana.
Shax and Tiana are also in my honorary mentions. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So what is your number two fanon pairing?
From Deep Space Nine, it is Odo and Quark.
Hmm.
I'm
Interesting.
sorry, but like, come on, a changeling and a Ferengi, especially one who's head of security and the other one's getting in trouble. I like my. I guess I just have discovered I really like my quote unquote enemies to lovers type thing, but to me they give me more of like a Bones and Spock, like an odd couple feel. Um, as the show goes on, I just find them hilarious together.
I completely agree, which is why they're my number one.
this is
Yeah,
this is excellent.
yeah.
I mean, how can you not like? I call them like odd couple Odo and Quark.
They are the oddest odd couple. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Honestly, they both have probably more chemistry with each other than their designated love interests in the show.
Oh, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So tell me,
Um,
I mean, this is fascinating. So it's your number one.
yeah.
Uh, why is it all the way at the top?
Basically what you said, they have a lot of chemistry together. They also have a lot of screen time together, specifically
Mm-hmm.
together. Um, they're not really enemies to lovers because yes, they're enemies, but they're like funny enemies, you know? They're not like
Well, yeah,
Kirk and
it's
Khan.
like it's enemies. It's enemies in a comedy.
Yeah. They're
The
like Bugs
cop always
Bunny and
chasing
Daffy Duck.
after the burglar or whatever.
Yeah, they're Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, you know, they're that kind
Yeah.
of enemy. Um and they're also each other's best friend, despite being enemies.
I know, right?
Yeah, so they make for a very interesting dynamic. They know each other the best out of everyone around them.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, they just have a lot of chemistry, and they're very fun to watch together.
And they're yeah, it's just a level of like being comfortable with each other,
Yeah,
even when they're at odds. That is. entertaining.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, what is your top ones
For the fan inside,
for? Yeah, but let's start with canon. What is your canon top one?
uh, Worf and Jadzia.
Me too.
Of course.
Of
Actually, this
course.
this is not surprising to me.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Um.
I just love Jadzia's obsession with Klingons.
Yeah.
Don't know why
Yeah.
they had to give that to her, but I don't know. If you're trying to seduce Worf, you know,
Yeah.
I respect you. So
That's a funny thing. She was trying to seduce him for a while there.
yeah,
Um.
she
y-
was.
Yeah. I think they're just first of all, Deep Space Nine I think has like the best both fanon and canon pairings overall.
I
Um.
agree.
Because they gave a lot of attention to characters, and Jadzia and Worf are probably the most developed pairing across all Star Trek shows.
Yes.
Um, they even had, through them we got to see what a Klingon wedding looks like.
Hmm.
We saw them live together. We saw them have a full relationship. We even saw them, trying for a child, and sadly, we saw them when one of them died.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just were really, really good together.
I mean, I know they say like Troy was with Worf in the next generation, but since, we didn't really get to see that so
Yeah,
much, it was really nice to watch Worf navigate a relationship over an extended period of time.
yeah,
Um, to watch him really come to care for Jadzia, it just felt solid. Like
yeah,
the writers knew how to do it. Not for everybody else per se, but
yeah. For those specifically, yeah,
for those two specifically, they got it right, I think.
yeah.
Until, like you said, the tragedy.
The tragedy, yeah. And I actually think they handled even the tragedy like really well. Like they were forced into it because the actress left the show because of Rick Berman. Yeah, Terry
Yeah,
Farrell had to leave the show because of Rick Berman. Um, but then she was kind of replaced, with Azri Dax, and I really liked what they did with that too, because there was a point like where Worf was kind of like toying with the idea that Ezri could completely replace Jadzia, but then he kind of had to come to grips with the fact that, Ezri is not Jadzia. She is a completely
yes,
new person. She's a completely different character. And she is very much not a fan of the Klingons like Jadzia was, which I
right.
really liked. I really liked that touch. Um, but yeah, they are just like the best developed pairing across all shows so far, really.
Absolutely. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't disagree with you there. Obviously, I was putting some of my like personal preference into my list, it's my favorites, but you just can't not recognize how well done that pairing was.
yeah.
Yep. Plus, I liked Worf and Jadzia individually,
Yeah,
and
they
they
are
made them
good
work
characters.
together.
They're really, really good characters overall.
It's not like I was lukewarm about one of them. So,
Yeah,
um, anyway, yeah, so those are okay. Those are our
wait,
top ones for canon side.
yeah. What is my top one for fan, and what is yours?
You should probably know this one. It's Picard and Q.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just real enemy to lovers.
sort
So
of. I mean, sort of. I mean, if Picard was really Q's enemy, would have been dead in seconds.
oh, I know, but from the Picard perspective,
Yeah,
Q is just like Q is not a good thing.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I've always really liked it. I like watching people mess with Picard. But then
It
as
is fun.
the
Yeah,
as Q continues to he gets he gets put into a lot of the next generation for a villain. He's the one that gets reprised all the time. He's kind of like the Klingon.
Yeah.
The Klingons in the original series, he's always showing up to like insert himself or just be somewhere where he's not supposed to.
Yeah.
I just love the way he aggravates Picard. Um, and then, becomes obsessed with him. It's just like, why? But okay, I accept it.
Yeah, personally, I don't really like Hugh himself. He's kind of
Hmm.
aggravating, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, like I said,
Oh yeah, he's
I like
totally a narcissist.
yeah, but like I said, I like pairings where someone pokes at Picard's ego, so I can
Hmm.
see the appeal.
So honestly, I was kind of thinking about like what would Soda pick for her number one in the fanon. I actually had like two pairings in mind. I thought I knew your number one, and then I
Mm.
actually did not know your number one.
What did you think would be my number one?
Probably Bashir and Garrick.
Really?
Yeah. Either that or Jordy and Data.
Wow. Okay. I thought about them, but honestly, both of those pairings are a little bit boring to me. No offense to anyone who ships
Really?
them. Yeah. Data and Jordi, especially because they're nice, they're cute, but there is not much meat in there, there isn't
Hmm.
like drama or anything. They're just, they're friends, and that's it. That's the entire basis of the relationship. They're good friends. And
Yep.
it's cute, but it's not very exciting.
Like friends or best friends, like to lovers, there's a lot of fanon pairings for that.
Yeah, but I mean, can you think about like something that they clash about, something that could be, I don't know, a disagreement between them?
Probably
They're
not.
just, yeah,
You're
they're
right.
just kind of, okay, they're friends. um, and Yerk and Bashir do have more meat in them, but they're also kind of, I feel like, really done to death. I know they're the most popular fan pairing in the Deep Space Nine fandom.
Hmm.
um and even kind of sort of explored in the book that Garrick's actor kind of wrote. They kind of hinted at it. They even had like an alternate universe appearance in Strange New Worlds. I feel like they're done. Like, I don't know, I feel like there is more fun to be had with Quark and Odo than Bashir and Garrick. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you picked Odo and Quirk. I knew that would be on your list
Hmm.
because we've had good conversations about it in the other podcast that we did,
Yeah.
and we both had positive things to say about it. I guess, okay. So neither of us picked the like probably the most famous fanon pairing of all non-TOS shows.
Yeah.
That surprises me a little bit.
Why didn't you pick Garrick and Bashir?
Bashir is just a little too immature to me,
I understood.
and
Yeah.
he's a fanboy of Garrick, and I know that's how they start out, but I just
Yeah. He's not really a fanboy of Garrick. He's like a fanboy of spies, and he
he's a
kind of
fanboy of spies, but
yeah,
that translate into his,
yeah. He
you
projects on
know,
Garrick. Yeah.
he projects that onto to Garrick. So, um, they're entertaining to watch. Like again, it's if you're watching it for some of the comedy, right? But for me, Bashir in any of his relationships, I always was um, rooting for him to, I don't know, gain a little maturity.
Yeah, he did. That's kind of his interesting part about him, but I still think like him and Garrick are like. I feel like everything that could be explored with them is already done by other
Yeah.
fans. Kind of.
So there was no real mystery there to you.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. I gave them an honorable mention because I mean they are so popular, and there is a lot of drama that you could have going on with, Garrick's choice of occupation. They would be like the lowest on my
Yeah.
on my ranking list probably. Speaking of who is on my honorary list but would be higher than those two, because I mentioned Mariner and Talyn were on there, right?
Yeah.
My other one, I have just one more, and that is Michael and Philippa Giorgio,
Oh, interesting.
Mirror Universe
Yeah.
Giorgio. So, because it is complicated, leaning into they both need a therapist
Yeah.
kind
I
of pairing,
yeah.
and I like messy, um, and like, ooh, maybe they really shouldn't.
Oh
So
yeah. Absolutely. I mean, for enjoyment, messy pairings are the best.
yeah,
Yeah. I can see that they're actually not on my honorary mentions because I feel like I don't know. At the time we see uh Michael and Miro Giorgio interact, Michael is kind of still a very tough character. Like she's kind of not very
mm-hmm,
well explored. Maybe if we've seen, Michael of the later season interact with Giorgio, I would have had a different opinion. Um, but as she was, I felt like there wasn't much of a ship to be had with her.
yeah.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Um, I have in my honorary mentions a lot of very like short term ships, like ships with characters that only appeared in one or two episodes.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, like right, Orphan Kaler, Alexander's mom.
oh.
Yeah, I really like them. She died. She died in her third appearance or something like that.
The
Um,
good ones always die. I don't know what is up with that.
yeah. But Kaler is, I think she's a great character, and I really liked her dynamic with Worf. Um, Too bad that they killed her off. Really, maybe I don't know. Maybe the actress didn't really want to be under all this makeup forever. Um,
hmm
but she was great. I really liked her.
Well, I think I've mentioned all my honoraries on the fanon side. So I put which one? Well, I told you about Shax and Dr. Tiana. Let me go up the list here. I told you about Topol and Trip,
Hmm.
Ram and Lita. The only other one I guess I didn't mention or that we didn't mention is Saru.
Oh, Saru, of course.
Yeah, Saru and um Trina, the you know,
Yeah. The
blanking on the was she
yeah.
president? Is that what they called her? I can't remember. No. The other lady was the president.
Well,
Whatever
she's
her
the
title was.
yeah, she's the head of the planet of the unification of Vulcans and Romulans. I forgot the name they
Yeah.
call themselves. Y- Oh, Nivar, right? They call themselves
Navarre.
Nivar.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. I thought that was a cute like romance.
Yeah, they had a
Because
very
their
sweet.
personalities, right? And they're
Yeah.
both very cautious people, very empathetic people. And yeah, it was nice to see them develop a little romance and tie the knot.
Yeah. And another pairing that I had that also was short term, and I had Quark and Gurka,
Oh.
the Klingon lady. I feel like out of all the pairings they put Quark in, he had a lot of like one-off romantic interests episodes for some reason, but this was probably the best one, which is
But it
probably
was
why
like an episode.
but that's why she returned for a second episode. She was there actually
Oh,
for a
that's true.
second episode. The same episode that Jadzia and Worf got together was also the episode she came back. It was really funny.
That's a good one. Cork could have used a lady like that in his life.
Yeah, he absolutely could. I mean, it was so funny because the second episode was like Worf was seeing her, and he was like
hmm
immediately into her, but then he found out that she was like into Quark, and he spends the entire episode getting like, why?
Why?
It's really
Oh
funny.
goodness.
Yeah, it's really funny. Um,
So let me make a comment. Like, is what happened to Voyager?
oh, Voyager.
For both of us.
Yeah.
I mean, for the Voyager part, I put okay on the canon side. I'm like, well, canon pairings like probably the two most prominent is Janeway and Chakotay, and then like there's B'Elanna and Tom Paris.
Well, my
I'm not a
feelings
fan of
about.
either.
Yeah, my feelings about Chakotay. He's the
Oh
most
yeah.
boring character ever
But
created in
then
Star Trek.
on the
Thing.
fanon side, I put 7 of 9 with any female.
Yeah.
Um, and I also put 7 and 9 in the Doctor.
That is a
On
terrible idea. They could have tried to push this in canon, and it was a terrible idea. And of course, there is the canon pairing of Chakotay and 7 of 9, which no one asked for, but we got for some
well, right,
reason.
but no one asked for it. I didn't put it as like even a possibility
Yeah.
on the list. But like none of these really, nothing from Voyager, I guess, even made an honorary mention.
Yeah. Honestly, I do feel when I think about it, I think like 7 of 9 and Belana Torres kind of have an interesting chemistry. I would put them on my honorary list. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Strange New Worlds. Yeah, I
Strange New
wrote some
Worlds.
things on here. I put like there's Pike and Marie Battelle. There's Pike and Chapel is, I guess, retconned canon.
I
There's Pike
guess.
and Lon. There's Uhura and like Ortega's brother. That's very new.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the issue. The series isn't like is like kind of halfway done only. Um,
Yeah, but I don't feel strongly about any of these
yeah,
as
I
they
agree.
stand. And then on the fan side, I was like, well, um, it's even sparser to be honest.
Yeah,
I put Spock and Pike because I see that a lot, but
I can
I
see
don't
that.
have feelings about that.
Yeah, me neither. Um,
Um, Maybe relationships in Strange New Worlds are just not meant to stick with us for long because they, especially for some of the main characters, they have to go the way of canon
yeah,
for the
that,
original
that
series.
that's very sad, but it's true. We kind of
Yeah.
know the future of these characters, so it's kind of hard to get attached to the current version in Strange New Worlds.
But what they could do is they could take some of their new characters. I know there's not a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but they could have made a pairing with a set of new characters that people really liked.
That's true. Um,
They could have given La'an someone. They could have given La'an and someone. I don't know, Ortegas. Like they could have developed that maybe
yeah, I
as
mean,
an example.
yeah, I mean, why didn't they? I mean, take like a character like I don't know Sam Kirk. Why not Lan and Sam Kirk instead of Lan and Spock?
True, but then we know Sam gets married to someone else in canon.
We don't know what happens to Lan, so
We don't know what happens to La'an, but like I like La'an and I like some of their other characters they've introduced. Um, that are original to the Strange New Worlds script.
yeah,
They could have made more,
yeah, they
and
could
they
have
could
made
have
more.
like made an interesting pairing with some of them.
Yep,
I'm just saying it was a possibility.
yeah, I completely agree.
So instead, we get a lot of tragedy because we get a lot of breakups because how things
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Breakups are death.
yeah,
um, so
yeah.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah, in Deep Space Nine, I also have an honorary mention for
Hmm.
Kira and that's funny. The Romulan ambassador in the last season, Kimara Kretak. They have so much chemistry for how little they interact. Like they really
Yeah.
do look like they're flirting with each other a little all the time. They kind of smile at each other a lot and stuff. And poor Kira just doesn't get any good romantic interests. They always settle her with, like, boring men, and then Odo for some reason.
I know. I know. Yeah, some of the definitely some of those characters in Deep Space Nine got shafted.
Yeah. There was even the
um,
time where they kind of tried to hint, like, about a romance between Kira and Miles O'Brien. It was so weird.
I know, and they'd already made it such a complex situation with Kieko and
Yeah.
O'Brien and Kira. Yeah, that's kind of my list. I actually don't have any more honorary mentions. I have a much longer list of just people that I was thinking through and writing down as like potentials other than what I knew that I really liked, and probably not even half of that's like my honorary mentions. So
Yeah.
I put Picard slash several females.
Honestly, aside from Vash, I don't really remember his other romantic interests. I know they exist, but I cannot remember them.
Oh, you know what? The other one from the Picard show was Seven of Nine, and what was her name? Rafi or
Oh, right, Rafi, yeah. They also
yeah,
are kind of a nothing. They dated for like they started dating arms. They kind of held hands at the end of the first season. Then by the second season, they were already broken up.
I know.
It was very weird. Very weird.
So if we had to say one show that probably did romantic relationships the best, would we say Deep Space Nine?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
With all the problems, like, we talked about, like, Kira getting the worst romantic interests, and Kira and Odo becoming canon for me was like, why? We already went
Hmm.
through this. Killing of Jadzia, which was very sad. But overall, it did handle romance the best out of all the Star Trek shows.
Yeah. We didn't mention Cisco at all, and
Oh,
like Cassidy.
they're very cute. They're very cute together, Cisco
They
and
were cute, but
Cassidy.
Cassidy was like in and out.
Oh yeah, that was kind of her character. Yeah, she wasn't
Yeah.
she wasn't living on the station.
I think they're one of the more liked canon pairings.
Yeah,
But yeah, Worf and Jadzia for me were an example of how to do it right. So
yeah, I agree. So those are our opinions about pairings outside of the original series.
yeah, thank you everyone to listening to us rank our favorite non-TOS pairings. If you have anything you want to share yourself, feel free to do so. Otherwise, until next time.
Bye, everybody.